Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mitch Alex Show. My hat's good. He's Mitch. I'm
Am
Alex.
I?
Is that the stick now? This is episode 15. Can you believe it? I thought we were going to be done after 3.
Did you really?
I did. I didn't think.
Explain why.
I don't know. I just didn't think it lasted very long. We were a bit inconsistent at the start, but we found our groove,
We're now on Wednesday nights.
which I find are more convenient for everyone. So I'm not tired after training. It's just a convenient thing. I know people are more likely to tune in on a Wednesday night than they are on a
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
But we left the Saturday afternoon slot when the footy season ended.
Which was silly. Because
Yeah.
That's when we should have moved to the Saturday afternoon.
Oh, box.
It is what it is. How's your week been, Mitch?
It's been all right. Yours?
Not bad. I've been sleeping into 1 p.m. every day.
Wow.
Yeah. What comment already? Oh, it's Drunk Monkey with Chainsaw Films. Hello, hello, hello.
Good evening.
No Hey Yo today.
No.
No.
Wow.
David Bullock with an afternoon chat.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you there.
Good evening, whatever we are.
It's 5:30 p.m.
What is that? Is that evening?
I think that constitutes the evening.
Oh, well, good afternoon.
Yeah. We've got a decent show planned, I think.
A decent show.
Yeah.
Oh, don't go too crazy. Don't say good. Don't say great. Don't say amazing, spectacular.
Well, it's not going to be.
Oh, wow.
But as the caption has led on, we are going to be talking about the first year of All-Star,
Mhm.
2018. What a year it was. I was in year 7.
You don't want to miss out on the massive news story that's going on right now.
Which is?
Optus comment.
Oh, yeah. We apologize if there's any connectivity issues.
Look, the internet isn't the best here at Padstow.
A certain friend of mine on Facebook, who you may know, has also he put up a conspiracy saying
Oh, I wonder who that could
no,
be.
it's actually not who you think it is. He was like, Optus shut itself today, but Elimination Chamber tickets also went on sale today. It's being held at
I did
Optus
see
Stadium.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty funny. And then someone in the comments said something about how Dave Sapolsky's trying to mess with.
Gabe Sapolsky's involved.
Yeah. And apparently ECW is on the rise again.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't think I'd be into that.
No, it's a joke. But, yeah, I don't know what's been going on. I feel like we should do some small talk before we get into that.
There's nothing going on in my world box.
Really?
You can tell them about the show we confirmed if you want. Where was it? We're going to Kuna something.
Yeah. What was the date?
Oh, March 9th, we're going to be in Kuna something.
Oh, I put it in my calendar. Hold on. March 9th.
I hope the people are really invested in this, or they're.
Coonawarra.
It's not Coonawarra, you goose.
That's what.
No, it's Coon Barben or something. Coonawarra is a suburb I grew up
We've
in.
also got
You fucking asshole. Coonawarra is in Dapto.
Oh, I don't know. That's what someone in the chat said. Someone said Coonawarra.
Listen to people in the chat.
And then have we talked about this show?
No, you can't discuss that yet. They haven't paid.
Okay.
Nice acronym, ASWA. It's All Star.
Sorry.
I'm in a bad mood today.
I can tell it's gonna be heated. Oh, here we go. David Bullock says Kuna Barra Bread.
That's the one. Yes.
David Bullock's on the phone.
I don't know how, but that's the one.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna be there, David Bullock? Maybe. How long? You know, I'm gonna have a look at how long it's
I think it's 6.5 hours.
Kuna Barra Bread.
Make sure you spell it properly as well, Box. Exactly as the way David spelled it.
Oh Lord. Oh, it's only a Fox Reach.
Wow.
Yeah, only do. Oh, it's near Dubbo. Yeah, it's about an hour from Dubbo, but my internet's so terrible right now that it's not telling me.
I don't think the
Oh, here we
people.
go.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I don't think the people care, but tell them anyway.
5.5 hour drive.
It's not too bad, Box.
David Bullock says it's way out west. Haven't made out.
There you go.
There you go. Go and pay him a visit, David Bullock. Come and see our show, Mike.
And tell your mate to come to wherever we are. Coonawarra Brand Show.
Yeah.
Not the club, not the bowling club, not the sports center. Just the show.
Oh, it's called the show.
The Coonawarra Brand.
Wow.
Imagine if someone ever had to write a review of like what we're talking about. the boys started the podcast by discussing where they were going in March. No, just blame Optus this week.
Yeah.
Fucking Optus.
Bloody hell.
Am I spicy this week? I am, yeah. I don't know why either.
However, a week from Saturday, a huge November 18th show. Orlando Jordan, Keegan Reynolds, Moreau in the main event.
Yep.
Katie Forbes has been announced for a match teaming with women's champion Jasmine Brett.
To take on a Jayla J and Xena from Stardom. She's back.
She's back.
It's a big deal going to Stardom, you know, the largest women's wrestling promotion in the world.
Yeah.
Japanese promotion, so it'll be
Katie
cool.
Forbes,
What? Social media sensation.
she's a social media sensation.
No one's ever tuned into what you're doing 200 million times.
No, no one's tuning in right now. But no, we've got three. Stuff on that, Katie Forbes. Yeah.
Only 1 million. Oh, no, wait. Let's work it out. 100,999,097 to go. Is that correct? See, he doesn't know maths. How can he be a good businessman? Oh, he's our friend now. I don't know. All right, Box.
Let's get into it.
Get into it, Chief. Explain to the people what we're going to talk about. You say we're going to talk about the first year of All Star.
Okay, so we're coming up to, well, April will be All Star's 5th anniversary. And
No, so
No?
the company started like officially was announced to the world on December 27th, 2017. So we'll be approaching 6 years in a month.
Oh, wow.
So it's time to go back, Box, because it's been a long time. And yeah, well, one day my memory is going to die. So we need to get it out there to the world.
That is true.
Because give it another 4 years. What am I going to remember about 2018?
Absolutely jack shit.
That's right.
So if you tune into episode 15 of the Mitch Alex Show,
You will, yeah. And you guys are here live. You can ask your questions as well.
So my first question is, how did the idea for All Star come about? What made you go, I'm going to open up a wrestling club?
It's always, I don't know, people never have a real good reason, do they?
Because I feel like a lot of people just well, a lot of the promotions these days are, I'm already a wrestler and no one wants to book me. I'm going to open up a wrestling club. But
You said it. You said it, not me.
Oh, I've said it multiple times in the last few weeks. But you're not a wrestler.
No.
You were part of the industry, but what made you want to open up a promotion?
So I was living in Wollongong at the time, and in Wollongong, there's like the Wollongong and Illawarra, so including Shell Harbour and all that. There's like 300,000 people in that area. There was only one wrestling company, which is Rock and Roll. So I'm like, I thought to myself, like, there could be a possibility to do something here that's different, not to be competitive with Rock and Roll or take them out, but just be an alternative. And they were doing a very family-friendly wrestling show at the time. And I'm like, oh, well, let's go a little bit different. Let's go not crazy 18 plus, because that never would have worked in Wollongong, but let's do a. Nah, that come later. Like just like an MA 15 plus product, but no swearing, but more realistic characters and more serious style wrestling. I don't know what Rock and Roll was doing at the time, but I got the vibe that they weren't doing a serious wrestling product. They had a lot of characters, so we just went in the opposite direction, more realism. But I felt there was potential there, and well, as we go through, it didn't really work out to plan, but that was the idea going in. And I figured we could run a few shows a year, draw 150, and you know that would be it. So
how did it happen? You've told me this story before, and I think it was you were walking past a wrestling hall or something with
a wrestling hall
or a hall that had potential to hold a wrestling.
Yeah, so I was living in a town called Unanderra at the time. No, that's where I grew up. I was living in Unanderra, and we were going to get fish and chips, and across from the fish and chip shop was Unanderra Community Center or Hall, and it was open that day. There's something going on in there. And that'd be a really nice space for a wrestling event, because it was, I guess the best way I could describe it is like the Bexley Manor Hall. but a bit prettier.
Okay.
So and smaller. You could probably fit 70 or 80 people there, and I thought that would be the perfect venue for a little wrestling event.
So, just quickly, in between, I guess, so before you started All Star, were you still somewhat involved in wrestling?
No. I completely took a break for like 6 years, 7 years. And I come back, and I didn't really know anyone that was going around at the time either, apart from a few old friends. But I kind of went in blind, which we'll talk about as this goes on.
Yeah. So, the first show.
What was it called?
It's called Inception.
It was, that's right, yeah.
Find the date.
21st of April, 2018.
You already know.
I think.
I've got the card in front of me as well.
Okay.
And it was.
Let's run through it.
So the opening match was the All-Star Wrestling Heavyweight Title tournament.
Yeah, so this entire event was a tournament to crown the very first champion.
Kingston Eclipse defeats Lex Lennox.
It's Backman now.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Dean Draven defeats Scotty Thunder.
Yep.
Blake Stone defeats Silvio Milano. Any relation? James Kong defeats Phil Picasso. Kingston defeats Dean Draven. Blake Stone defeats James Kong. And then Blake Stone defeats Keegan in the final. Sorry,
Keegan.
In the final. The vacant title. So, what were your expectations going into the show? And how was the result anything like your expectations?
No. My expectation was that we'd have a really nice crowd because we did all this street team stuff. We did like the online advertising, tons of it. We had a Facebook event page like we do now.
Yeah. And
there was like 180 people that said they were coming or interested in coming. I'm like, wow, like all those people might not turn up, but surely 50% will.
Yeah.
We'll have like 90 to 100 people. That's not a bad start for a new company at that time. It wasn't, at least. And now it'd be like amazing. Like a lot of people are happy with 100 now. But it was like 30 people for this big Inception event to crown a champion. So it wasn't what I expected. Yeah, no.
Fair enough.
And in terms of match quality, like the show wasn't particularly good. Like it wasn't anything like it is now. I guess a lot of guys were unmotivated because the crowd wasn't particularly big.
Yeah.
You know, the company didn't have a reputation behind it. So it's kind of like, 30 people in Wollongong. Let's take it easy. So, yeah.
So
a lot of guys worked 2 or 3 matches that day as well.
Yeah. So the 8 wrestlers that were involved, right? We named them earlier. How did you, I guess, approach them and say, hey, opening up a wrestling company?
But why did I book them?
Yeah, why did you book them?
All right, give me the list. We'll go through.
Birdman. Well, I feel like that's a bit to you here.
Yeah, Birdman was like one of my sole contacts who was still in the business. I needed someone to drive the truck.
Yeah. And
I needed like a legend wrestler as well. So I like the idea of having a legend wrestler on the show. So I got Birdman. People still remembered him. Like I remember he was on the poster and we're handing out the poster and people were like, oh, I remember him. He wrestled at the Yalla Woolshed, which was like a 20, 25-minute drive away. And I got to put Birdman over as well. Not a lot of people do. And a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, like he shit talks you all the time. He doesn't anymore, but he was shit talking me all the time. How can you still like him? And I gotta put him over here. He worked the first at least 6 months, so the first year of All Star for free.
Wow.
Yeah, drove the truck, got up early, did the ring crew, loaded the ring, drove it back, did all that for nothing in the first year. So that's why he was there, and he was a good friend. He was one of my sole contacts remaining.
The first ever All Star Heavyweight Champion, 2-time All Star Heavyweight Champion, Blake Stone.
So he was the choice to be the champion, always the first choice. When I told him I wanted him to be the first champion, of course, he was keen to do that. Just a natural choice, really. I put him over a podcast or 2 ago, like just a massive guy, 6'4", jacked. Yeah, and you could put him on a poster and people go, wow. That's why he was there.
Dean Draven.
Dean Draven was working quite a bit at the time. He was a reputable guy, good wrestler. So he's an easy one. He's definitely someone that you would want in a heavyweight title tournament.
Someone who worked for All Star quite recently. Genghis Khan.
So Genghis Khan worked the one show, then he disappeared for about 2 years.
Right.
Same as Draven, like he's a legitimate guy, being heavyweight champion elsewhere, veteran wrestler.
He's been around for a while.
Been around like 20 years. Yeah, he's good. So we had him there, and we thought that there could be something we could do further down the road with him as like a upper mid card or main event talent.
That almost feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah, he was someone super reputable. He just come back from Noah like the year prior.
Oh, right.
Or maybe that year. I don't remember. You'd have to look it up. But he was like someone super reputable, really cool look. He's got the tattoos, Samoan guy. He looks like he'd kill everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a great choice too.
Lex Luger or Batman?
Yeah, I thought he had a lot of potential. I don't follow his career now because I don't watch a lot of PWA, but I hear he's doing really well. So I guess he did realize that potential, but he was there as someone who could be like a future star in a year or two.
Yeah. The Small Warrior, who he's now known as.
Yeah, I don't know why I booked him.
Fair enough.
Like he was that's not to put him down. He wasn't doing a lot at the time. I don't think he was actively wrestling. Yes, yeah. Someone must have recommended him, and I would have gone off the recommendation. But he hadn't wrestled for a while, so I don't know how I come up with him. That's nothing against his talent or anything, because he was a good wrestler.
Silvio Milano.
He was someone who happened to be there on the night.
Right.
A wrestler by the name of the Blacktown Brawler pulled out. No phone, no show. Never talked to him again.
Wow.
Blocked me. He's the first guy to get blacklisted by All Star for that. Silvio just happened to be there, and he got squashed by Blake Stone in like a minute flat.
Wow.
He got into a confrontation with Nicky Nitro that night as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like in the ring.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were having an argument, and then Blake Stone come out and just killed him.
Fair enough. So that was the first show. After that, were you kind of like, okay, well, time to build up now and hope that the next one is...
Well, I was really depressed after the first show because I thought because you put your heart and your soul into putting on a show, and it happens to a lot of people. It happens to me still, but at least now I have like a track record of where I've done a lot in the business. But at this point, I hadn't done much. I'm like, oh fuck, will the talent come back? Will they see that this thing can grow? Because the first show wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
Not sure many first shows are, but it's embarrassing when you draw 30 people and you don't have a track record to say, well, look, sometimes I do draw, So it was pretty disheartening, but yeah, I kind of just did get back on the horse and be like, let's aim for better.
So that show was at the Illawarra Leagues Club?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. So you didn't end up running a show at the Unadera?
Never, no.
Wow.
I'd like to one day, just to tick it off the bucket list.
The next show.
But Wollongong isn't supportive of me, really.
Yeah.
We got some great fans in Wollongong, but as a town or city, they never supported All Star.
Then you moved to Bomaderry. The Battle of Bomaderry.
No, we didn't move to
You
Bomaderry.
didn't move there, but that was your next show.
There was a show, yeah, 2 weeks later.
Was that because you felt that the Illawarra Leagues Club wasn't successful?
No, we sold the show to them.
Oh, right.
So that was booked before we did the Illawarra Leagues. That was booked for 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So the card for this one.
Let's run through it. I'll give my views.
Bubble defeats Dan Archer with Vinny Bronson. Who's Bubble?
Bubbles is a suplex wrestler. I think he still wrestles today. Okay. Dan Archer and Vinny Bronson, of course, they're great wrestlers now, doing great things at Slam.
Will they be inaugural champ?
No. That comes later.
Yeah.
Dan Archer and Vinny Bronson, this is kind of their first appearances in New South Wales. Before that, they were wrestling in Canberra.
Which is where they're mainly based now.
Yeah, but there wasn't, to my knowledge, there wasn't good wrestling in Canberra at the time. There was no Slam or anything. So they had to come up to New South Wales to make dates. And they liked working All Star because it was closer than Sydney for them.
And then a tag team. Alex Irvine and Scotty Hank defeat Dan Archer and Billy Johnson.
Yeah, I don't remember much about that. I think we needed to get a tag match in there. I think Irvine and Haim came with Draven and some Jake Gibson, who else is also on that show.
Yeah.
They just came with him, so we filled a spot there. Yeah.
Singles match. Nikki Nitro defeats Rochelle Rogue.
Yes. Don't think she was Rochelle Rogue then, but that's the first match for Rochelle Rogue. Yeah. Ever. I think she was like 17.
Wow. Hudson Hulk defeats Jack Pay.
Yes. Yeah. That's the first appearance of Hudson Hulk, who was around for
For a while.
about a year. Yeah.
Dean Draven defeats Jake Gibson.
Yep.
Phil Picasso defeats John Rail. Right?
I don't remember.
I
I think John Rail made like one appearance,
Right,
and that's it. He was a suplex guy.
And then the heavyweight title match with Blake Stone defending against Jackson Spade. Yeah, why Jackson Spade? That one shocked me a little bit.
Why?
Why? What was the thought process behind booking Jackson Spade, especially in the main event spot?
He was doing some good things up in Newcastle at the time for Hunter Valley. I think he just wrestled Frankie Kazarian. I think he beat Frankie Kazarian actually. So whilst he wasn't, the biggest name, it was an acceptable main event here in Bomaderry, I thought. He also brought like 4 of the wrestlers on the card, and he would have been one of the more experienced wrestlers on the card as well, apart from maybe Draven. Yeah, Draven, and that would be it. Nah. Oh, Blake Stone, Draven, Birdman, and Spade would have been the more experienced guys. Plus, I think Spade would have been one of the few heavyweights on there too. Okay.
Is Josh Adokar leading the Dogs? Probably not.
What's that got to do with 2018 All-Star?
How was Blake Stone as your first champion?
He was good, but he was the champion in a difficult time. It's when you're building a promotion. If he became the champion now, and he didn't have if he was, yeah, but like if he wasn't retired and he's still active and he come in and no ring rust, he'd be huge at Padstow. I genuinely believe that. He's just it was a difficult time for him, and as time went on, like it started to build, and he was a big part of that. But at this time, it was tough for him, I think. But for me, he worked hard. He was very easy to work with. He was great to be around, and it was good to have a veteran talent like that around. So I can't say anything bad about Blake Stone.
Status Food says, how long is Johnny Star been around? We'll get into that when he first appears as well.
He appears around this time. Yeah. But does he mean total or?
I don't know. I think he just means All-Star one.
The 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But total, he's been wrestling
2004, I think.
I always give him shit. Before I was born.
Yeah. He always says 20 years though, so maybe it's before 2004.
I think he's around.
We'll have to ask him when he walks through the door.
Training clips of him when he first started in VHS tapes, actually.
Wow.
And they were dated around November of 2005, which is when I was born.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what an old guy.
Yeah. Any interactions with Bishop Summers over the years?
No. I do know that name though, and I know it to be like people speak favorably of Bishop Summers, but I never met him. He never involved in All-Star.
What was I guess the staff like back then? Was it a lot harder to run a show? Was it more pressure? Because I guess now, especially with the Padstow show, all the shows we run, there's a lot more hands on deck.
It was a 3-person team.
Right. So
it was me, my partner, and Special Man Jace, who will watch this at some point.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Special Man. But being in Wollongong, a lot of the Sydney guys weren't available at an earlier time to do ring crew. So I remember the first show that we just talked about was me and Jace taking the ring down all by ourselves, taking it out the door by 12 o'clock a.m. midnight, and then loading it down 2 flights of stairs to put it on the back of the truck. So, wouldn't have been able to do it in the early days without Special Man Chase.
Yeah.
And I remember on that first All-Star show, nobody did ring crew.
Is this the same, right?
Yeah.
Oh, those boards would be rough.
No, they were different boards.
Different boards.
Yeah, but everything else was the same.
That'd suck.
We had to do it ourselves. 2 flights of stairs. Yeah.
When did that kind of, I guess, get better? When obviously wrestlers would start helping out?
It got better when we went to Sydney because it's easier for guys. Then they're like, oh, I'm just 20 minutes away. I'll stay around and do ring crew. Yeah. Then, of course, the addition of the students as well, because I was still up until earlier this year, still running majority of the staff stuff myself. It's just photographer and cameraman who turn up at doors, but it was mainly just me, Mia. Now Jace comes late now because he's in Wollongong. Me, Mia, a couple of 3 or 4 until the students come along.
Yeah. The card was vastly different with Bombadil. Genghis Kong, Kingston Eclipse, Lex Lennox, Warrior, and Silvio Milano all missing. Only Kingston Eclipse could be a regular. What happened to that?
I don't know if I could tell you blow by blow. Read the names again. He just kept saying he wasn't available, which is wrestling talk for I'm not interested.
Yeah. Kingston wasn't available for this show.
I don't think we wanted him for this show because we were trying to build Kingston up as a special attraction.
Okay.
So he just wasn't invited.
Lex Lennox or Backman?
I don't remember why he wasn't on this show. He did come back a time or 2 afterwards, but not for this one.
Scotty Paula?
Don't remember.
And Silvio Milano, I guess.
He come back later as well for a one-off, but yeah, no, I don't remember why he wasn't there. He might not have even been asked to be there. Like all those guys might not have been. Remember Genghis was though, because we wanted to build something with him.
You're next.
I'm very impressed by this catalog. You just swipe to the next show. Yeah, I'm impressed.
The next event, All Star Wrestling Australia, Dangerous Measures, on the 28th of July. The Zoo, which we call home, has called me out on my mic position. So, because I'm speaking to Mitch as well.
We gotta do these ones.
Yeah, these ones. So the next event, Dangerous Measures, on the 28th of July, 2018. At the Coonawarra Community Centre.
Yes.
The opening match, Phil Picasso defeats Goran Uriel Nicola.
Yeah, the first appearance of Goran.
Yeah.
I don't think he was wrestling many places at the time, so it's interesting to see him pop up there.
Jack Payne defeats Shane Saw.
Yeah.
Lee Moreau defeats Hudson Holt. Is this Lee Moreau's first appearance?
It is, yeah.
And 5 years later, he's wrestling in the main event for the heavyweight title.
It's a funny world, wrestling.
Brioni Fujiwara.
That's Ryan.
Ryan,
yes.
Ryan, why is it double ended? Anyway, Fujiwara
Yes.
defeats Jake Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting mid-card match.
Yes, it is.
Dan Archer and V Bronson defeat El Jaguar and Lex Lennox. Now I remember who the normal tag team is. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Abaddon defeats Johnny Starr. I've seen that match recently. Actually.
Really? Did we watch it here?
I can't remember. I think I watched it.
Oh, okay.
And the main event, the heavyweight title, Blake Stone successfully defends against Dean Drake.
Yeah.
This event hosted a lot of VCW trained wrestlers or training.
Yeah.
Was there a partnership, I guess, with VCW for this, or did you just book a lot of guys?
I don't think there was anything official. Hudson Hulk was like, "Oh, I've got some guys. Would you like to give them a go?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" Like, we needed the talent. I didn't know anyone really at that point, so I think he might have vouched for Morrow, Johnny Starr. Maybe I got in touch with Johnny Starr. I don't remember. But I remember there was a big crew of ECW guys cheering their guys on as well, so that was cool.
Yeah.
There's never any official partnership. I didn't
It
even know Vulcan at this time. Like, I think,
does appear on the show later.
yeah. I don't know if I first met Vulcan in 2018 or 2019. I think it might have been 2018 actually. So we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah. All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah wrestler Ryo Fujiwara.
Ryan, yeah.
Ryan.
Someone on that day called him Rioni, and he got pissed off. He's like, Ryan.
All right. Is randomly in the mid card. How did this come about? Because I know, well, now anyway, when you book like international guys or big names, I don't know if you consider him a big name. I don't think I've heard of him. I know the name Fujiwara.
So I tell the people who don't know who Ryan is, he's Australian-born wrestler, born in Sydney, moved to Japan where he had a job with the Bank of America, I believe, trained to become a wrestler under Tajiri, and then he was wrestling for Wrestle One in Japan, which was a decently sized company that Tajiri owned. Then he went to All Japan, Noah, as you said, and done some smaller promotions there as well. But he was like an active wrestler for a long time in Japan.
Right.
So he's one of Australia's more successful wrestlers if you count Japan.
Okay.
Yeah. And what was the question?
How did you book him? How did the booking come about?
I actually don't remember. I think I might have read somewhere that he was in the country. I didn't fly him overseas. Yeah. When they just fall into your lap. It was definitely one of those. Falls into your lap. And then I just booked him, put him in a hotel. That was it.
Fair enough. Both Johnny Starr and Luke Watts, who was known as El Jaguar then.
Yep.
They debuted on this event. How did that come about? You touched on the Johnny Starr.
Yeah, I don't remember if Johnny Starr was suggested to me or I reached out to him. And Luke Watts was suggested to me by Dan Archer and Vinnie Bronson, who are trained by him. Luke Watts was kind of a big deal at the time because we didn't have a lot of younger established talent.
Which is like crazy because Luke Watts is still a relatively young guy, but he's so experienced. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, he's been wrestling since he's 16 or 17. I think he's only like 33 or something now.
Yeah, I was speaking to, I guess, an acquaintance of mine who was around back then.
Yeah.
And he wrestled with Watts back then. It was like, wow, is that guy still around? But
Yeah.
He's still fairly young.
Yeah, he's still a young guy. Like, I think he's 33,
Right.
which is very young for a wrestler.
Yeah, well, I mean, but even then, he's been around almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
It is. Yeah. But no, he was a big deal to have because he's young, in his prime, because he would have been late 20s at the time. And I guess it was good for him as well because he wasn't working that many shows at that time.
Yeah.
And he's also a wrestler that had been to Japan and been all over the country. So he was good to pick up. And obviously he was with All Star for a very long time. So yeah, he was good to have.
The next show. You went
The
back
cage match protocol.
Yeah, the cage match protocol. You went back to the Orleans stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
Hold on, just quickly put a question.
Okay.
Was Mitch ever involved with UWA, who was running at the time? Did UWA become rock and roll wrestling?
I was involved with UWA. I was a referee there, and they did become rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah. I mentioned UWA a bunch of times. I had a lot of fond memories there. We'd go all down the south coast. Like we'd go to Bateman's Bay, Bomaderry. We'd do Windang, Berkeley, which are like Wollongong towns. Always drew a really good house, and it was really good to work with Luke.
Was UWA, I guess, the
Yes, yeah, that's why I saw a gap in the market for an alternative. We're blaming Optus for that. There's a technical difficulty.
When did UWA become rock and roll?
I don't remember. I wasn't following the business at the time, but it's been rock and roll. I'd probably say for 10 years now.
All right.
Stay with us. We got technical difficulties because of Optus.
Stay with us. I think we're good. Hopefully good. The next show, also featuring some VCW guys. So I guess it was an ongoing. It wasn't a partnership. It was like an official.
No, they were around for about a year though. Yeah.
This one back at the Illawarra League Club. This is the first one back at the Illawarra League Club.
Since the debut, yes, it is. Yeah.
So the August event.
Because we weren't running that much at this point. It was like, I think the first year we might have done 6 shows.
Yeah.
So,
I counted it, 6 shows.
Yeah.
So this is the tournament to crown the inaugural tag team champions, but it didn't go. It wasn't just this show.
Yeah.
El Jaguar and the Prince of Leon beat Dan Archer and Benny Johnson.
Yeah, so it was meant to be El Jag and Lex Lennick, I think, because we built it up the show before.
Yeah.
And Lennick pulled out on the day. So Prince of Leon happened to be available, so we just slipped him in there.
Jack Payne defeats Hobble.
Yeah.
Badney defeats Jaden Jacobs.
I got a funny memory of Jaden Jacobs.
I've never heard of it.
Very nice guy. He's a suplex wrestler. He come out and he comes out to the Illawarra Leagues. It would have only been 60, 70 people there for this show. So attendance went up. But he goes, "Hey guys, Jaden Jacobs here." And he puts his arms out and he got nothing from the people.
Yeah.
Poor fella.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, but he's a very nice guy, Jaden Jacobs. I don't know what he's up to now, but I hope he's well.
The other first round match for the tag team title tournament, Dean Draven and Jackson Spade defeat Alex Irvine and Sweaty Hank.
Yeah, so Irvine and Haim were a team at the time, I believe. And Draven and Jackson Spade were a team as well. So they were probably 2 of the best tag teams I could get at the time.
Daniel Alexander defeats Rustin Holt, 2 VCW guys there.
I don't remember much of the match. I remember Daniel Alexander was local. He's from Coonawarra, actually.
Really?
Yes. So yeah, he was the Steeler down there, and we were trying to get a hometown guy over. Didn't really work out, but he was an okay guy as well.
6-man tag team match for semi-main. Hudson Holt, Johnny Starr, and Phil Picasso.
What a team!
What a team.
The Mega Powers.
Defeat Lee Moreau, Silvio Milano, who's returned, and Tony Cruz.
So it's a debut of Tony Cruz, right?
Which is nuts because he's about to have a decent title match. He did disappear for a while and came back. He was doing other things.
Yeah. He was quite prominent in this Wollongong run.
Yeah.
I remember that match actually being quite good, to be honest. Like, on paper, it doesn't sound too good.
On paper, it doesn't sound great, but at the same time, when you've got guys in there like Johnny Starr and Tony Cruz.
Yeah. And Silvio, he was capable. Who else was in there? Lee Morrow. Yeah.
Hudson Holt, even with
Yeah.
and Birdman back then.
Birdman, he was younger then, so he could move a little bit.
But like, while his in-ring work might be limited, I think his character work.
Yeah, he's always one of the more memorable guys on a show.
And then the main event, an unsanctioned match.
Yes.
This is the first ever hardcore match in All Star.
I think so, yeah.
Blake Stone versus Kingston Eclipse.
Yep.
Ends in a double KO, a no contest.
Yeah. Yep. It did.
Yeah.
I have memories of that. It was
that for the title?
No. It was an unsanctioned match, so it can't be for the title.
Right, yeah.
But I remember it not being particularly crazy, but at the time, like, again, to try and be different to what Rock and Roll were doing, I don't think Rock and Roll were doing the violence. We had a pretty violent match there with tables, chairs, all that. So they did what was expected and asked of them. It was a good match from memory.
Was it successful at the point where you were like, oh, well, let's move into more of that stuff? Or were you just like, oh,
yeah. So you'll see as we go into more of 2018 and 2019, we did try and be more adult and more violent. It's a lot of bleeding and stuff, which wasn't for everyone, but yeah, we did kind of lean into that more. Yeah. And we still do today. We're still a product that mainly attracts 18 to 40-year-old men. That's what the statistics say, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've talked about it where, like, the hardcore stuff is good if there's a meaning behind it.
Mm.
So if there's a personal beef, as we called it.
But in general, our product now is more adult as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, one of the top guys drinks beer and walks to the ring sculling VBs, you know, and what other adult characters? You know, one smokes cones and
then there's Aries, who's very.
he calls himself the devil. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that only adults would get. Not that All Star isn't suitable for children,
No.
but we kind of try and make it more adult than what's out there, while still remaining as family friendly as possible.
So you didn't run another event for 2 months.
Yep.
You took September off. The 20th of October. Only the strong survive, which was an event until recently. I don't know if that's still a thing or not.
Only the strong survive. We did one in 2022 as a bit of a tribute to this show. That was Chris Masters versus Ryan Eagles main event.
That's right.
Yeah, you were there.
My third ever All-Star show.
Yeah.
This one's back at the Coonawarra Community Centre.
Yeah.
Why did you not run the Illawarra Leagues one?
I think we were just trying to be different, and it's like these are the mistakes you make as a promoter as well. Like you try things and they don't necessarily work. Coonawarra had drawn well at the one show we did prior, did like 70 people. So we're like, oh, let's try and build this one up too. Looking back, I probably would have built Illawarra Leagues up first, and then gone. Well, I mean, if I had the knowledge I have now, I would have built Illawarra Leagues and then try to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
But inexperience led to shows being held at the Coonawarra Community Centre.
Because I guess like that's what we're doing with Padstow now, Newcastle, where you've got the Padstow base steady and consistent.
Yeah.
You're trying to move elsewhere to, I guess.
So why not go somewhere else? Yeah. But at that time, that's just inexperience, and it's a mistake that every promoter is going to make. No promoter comes in and is perfect from the start.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, this is what your fourth or fifth show.
Fifth.
Yeah. The opener, Old Jaguar defeats Baden in a number one contendership match.
Yep.
Daniel Alexander defeats Vinnie Bronson with Dan Archer. And then Dan Archer defeats Paul Picasso.
Yep.
Dean Draven defeats Shane Paul. The heavyweight title match, Blake Stone defeats El Jaguar.
That was a great match, that one.
Was, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Match 5. Is that coming out of intermission?
What was it? A 7-match card?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been coming out of intermission.
That's not the typical.
It's not a typical Mitch move, no.
I don't think I've ever been to a show where the heavyweight title match wasn't the main event, except for the match.
What was the semi-main?
Tony Cruz versus Johnny Starr. Was that the first match of their trilogy?
Yes.
What a
So I don't know why that match went on 5th, because probably would have put it on 6th now.
And then Cruz and Starr 5th.
Out of the intermission, yeah. But the main event.
The main event made sense.
The main event was a personal grudge, which was meant more at the time than the championship match.
A chain match. Lee Moreau defeats Hudson Pop.
This was us going into the violence again, where we tied two guys together with the chain.
It's sort of like a dog collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
This is like a 3 levels of pain.
I guess. Yeah.
How was that show?
I remember at the time this was like the best show that we'd done so far. It was like nothing really went wrong from memory. There was a wrestler that walked out of that show, so we had to change it. That's why there was El Jag versus a Batten in the opener. But no, overall a good show. There's a decent crowd there. Crowd at Coonawarra started to drop off after that one.
Right. What did you think of Lee Moore back then? And I guess, well, obviously you had some faith in him to put him in the main event.
Yeah, I was always a really big supporter of Lee Moreau. Like, I don't know if anyone else really saw the potential in him that I did, even 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. Just a good looking dude with big muscled up guy. And I feel like with Morrow, like, he's been in places that haven't really known how to use him.
Well, like, you look at him over the last 2 years, like this year and last year especially.
Yeah.
He's become, like, he's one of the fastest rising guys in New South Wales, I think.
Yeah, but he always has that rise and always gets that push, and then the booker doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like he's such a talented dude, but he's a victim of just people not knowing how to use him. So like he had that run at AWS, and that's a championship run for the guy, but it wasn't as good as he could be.
Yeah.
You know, I think when he now that he's in All-Star, and you know he's in a good place with Slam as well and rock and roll, I think we're gonna see the best of Lee Moreau in the next, you know, from now to 5 years from now.
Yeah.
But he was really good back in 2018 as well. Like it was hard to crack a main event back then as well, and he cracked one. So
That is true. I see your question, and I'll get to it once we're done. I know Mitchell has some thoughts on it.
I'm tempted to look in, but I won't.
No. The last show of 2018, 1st of December.
Yeah.
Coonawarra Community Centre. The opening match, Bill Picasso defeats Rick Rowland. Singles match.
Rick Rowland.
Rowland.
Yeah. Rowland.
You
You gotta emphasize that W.
Jay Chicago defeats Shane.
Yeah.
The tag team title main event. This is an interesting one. Dean Draven and El Jaguar. Now, it says here that they're already champions, even though the title tournament hadn't finished. And they both had different partners in the tournament.
Yeah. So what happened was they were gifted the titles by Special Man Jace, who was the All-Star commissioner at the time.
Wow.
If you didn't know that,
Wow.
he handed them the belt. So the reason why is because both their partners didn't turn up for the tournament final. So
in the final.
I don't remember if they were booked or we just decided to go this way, but yeah, Special Man Jace is just like, yeah, you guys are the champions. So they did like an odd couple tag team.
Very odd couple tag team.
Yeah.
The Panther, Dean Draven, and El Jaguar.
Yeah.
I guess they are both cats. The content cat would be very.
That's the thing you got to do when your promotion's young, though. Like, there's going to be people that aren't loyal to it and they feel okay with just not turning up.
Yeah.
So we had to make the best of it. It wasn't ideal, but it is what it is, I guess.
And they defeated Alex Irvine and how do you say that?
Gooey Jar.
You booked him.
He was a Wrestle Strong trainee. Someone would have pulled out. I don't want to say that Scotty Haim pulled out because I don't know for sure, but someone would have pulled out.
Lee Moreau defeats Abaddon. Daniel Alexander defeats Dan Archer.
Yep. He was feuding with Bronson and Archer at the time.
Right. The semi-main, Jack Payne and Tony Cruz defeat Johnny Starr and Phil Picasso. They teamed together twice.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
It's the greatest tag team you didn't know existed.
Oh, it's almost as good as the Bird and the Bee.
The less said about that, the better.
The All-Star Heavyweight Title main event, Kingston Eclipse defeats Hudson Hulk
Yes.
for the title.
So I think originally, I remember now. So Hudson was meant to be in that tag match with Johnny Starr to take on Chalmers and Cruz, was it?
Cruz and Jack Payne.
Oh, Cruz and Jack Payne. And Blake Stone couldn't make it because he was obviously the champion at the time. So Hudson come in as the replacement and had from memory, a decent match with Kingston Eclipse. It's in the archive somewhere, so maybe we'll rewatch it one day. But I do remember it being a decent one.
Oh yeah, we can touch on that. So the Wollongong Wrestling Wars started in 2018 and ended around mid-19. What were they like? How did the talent take to it, and what did you think? So
for the people that don't know, there was a wrestling war.
Was this between you and Rock and Roll?
Yeah, it wasn't too well. It got serious, but not from my end, and I don't think from their end either. But I think they were just upset that we're in their area, which is fair enough, I guess.
I mean, like just quickly, like you look at wrestling now, right? And how we've spoken about how many feds there are in Sydney.
Yeah,
everyone's got kind of their spot in Sydney. But if people were so territorial like that, it just wouldn't work. I get it if you were offering the same product and were trying to compete with them. But like you said, the goal wasn't to compete with them; it was to offer an alternative.
I don't think they knew that though.
Fair
So I got no beef with them. Like they just did what their thing was to prevent us from getting any steam, because if we got steam it'd take from their audience, I guess. So they did the smart thing there. Was pissed off about it at the time, and the talent were pissed off about it as well, because they'd run the same day.
I was going to say, you
Yeah.
guys ever run the same day?
They would always run against us. So the existing Wollongong wrestling fan would go to them. It actually got so serious once. I've never told this before.
Wow.
One wrestler came up to me. I think this was a year later in 2019. And they said to me, I know someone with a gun. Do you want me to have them go over there next time they do this and tell them to stop? And I said, no, absolutely do not go over there with a gun. But that's how serious some people were taking it. But for me, it was never that serious where, yeah, send a guy with a gun over there. But that was something that was offered up to me, and I was pretty shocked by it, to be honest.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was a serious thing that this person could have done.
Yeah.
But it was very shocking at the time. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a little exclusive box.
That went on what, a year and a half. So
it was the entire run that we were in Wollongong. Yeah.
What was the expectation in December of 2018 for the next year? So I guess after the 6 shows you would run, what were your expectations leading into the next year?
Well, that last show that we just read, the one with the Hudson and Kingston, like the crowd dropped off massively. Is like 20 to 30 people again. So it's kind of like where we started from. So I guess we were disheartened. And then spoilers for next week, because we're doing 2019 next week.
Yeah, I've got
but January, like the next month, didn't do good either.
Yeah.
So we were all kind of in the dumps, and it changed afterwards. But yeah, I guess we're going to power through it. We're still a building company.
Yeah. So next week we're going to touch on 2019. We discussed the debut of the Brettle.
Yes, they come the show after this.
Who have been the mainstays of All-Star Wrestling, I guess.
Well, them, Johnny Starr, Luke Watts.
Yeah. The first ever A Night to Remember, which apparently put Mitch in the hospital.
Sure. Yeah, I think I talked about this on the pod before.
Leaving Wollongong and much more.
Yes, we'll leave it for next week.
Yeah, let me have a look. I'm just going to quickly have a look while I'm here and see how many shows you ran in.
It wouldn't have been that many.
8 shows.
That's not too bad.
In fact, the last show of 2019, also the last ever Wollongong show, I believe, was on my birthday.
Well, there you go,
Fun
Box.
fact.
And how old were you in 2019, Chief?
14 years
There
old.
you go.
Does it make you feel old that you started the wrestling promotion when I was 12?
My wrestling promotion's still young.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's 6 years. And technically, can you count 2020 and 2021?
Yeah, because you ran how many shows collectively in that? Should I have a look?
Well, 2020 there was the debut, Sydney, and then there was like,
There was 2 shows in 2020.
but one of them wasn't mine.
That's right. There was 1 show in 2020
That was mine, yeah.
and then there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows, including the 2
In
collective
2021.
ones. So 4 and then 5 with collective. There was 2 collective cons in 21. Sorry. So there was 1 in 21, a collective con, another one, another collective con, another one. So 5, including 2 collective.
Yeah, I remember there being 3 Padstows in 2021. So that barely counts.
Yeah, so it was. I'm not going to read that. We'll skip to that next week.
But for me, like All Stars kind of just been around as a Sydney product for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And Wollongong like a year and a half.
Mr. Hardy Production says, Mitch, was there ever a time you almost quit?
Not in 2018, but I think I mentioned last week during COVID, it was hard because you'd book something, you'd put money into it, you'd advertise it. Oh, got to cancel the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this ever going to get better? Should we just quit? But at that time in 2018, no, like I was disheartened and I was always stressed, but I was always confident that it would get better. Not to the level it is now, but I thought it would get better.
Yeah, what were your expectations going in, I guess, from the start? Did you have like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan where you're like, this is where I want to be?
Nah.
No?
No, it was kind of like, let's draw 100 people consistently every time we run, make a little bit of money, and just, put it back into the business. But I never expected it to be like it is now. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you'd told me in 2018 that I have a school and 2 wrestling rings and a building and going all around the state and talking to venues in the state, I'd be like, oh, well, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. But somehow it has.
Right. You're the special man for a reason. Well, how long did the startup take? Like, from when you were like, okay, this is what I'm going to do to the first, like, to the launch?
I'd say probably most of 2017 because I had to save up for the wrestling ring because they're expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like $12,000 for the wrestling ring. And then the wrestling ring arrived and then we could start organizing, shows. But there's a lot that goes into that to start with as well. But I'd say maybe a year and a quarter before we did the first show of planning.
How did you come up with the name All-Star Wrestling? I never asked you.
I actually wanted to call it Main Event Wrestling. Right. There's logos and everything just like this one.
Wow.
With Main Event Wrestling on it.
Wow.
And then I looked into the business registration to get an ABN and all that.
Yeah.
Main Event Wrestling was taken. So I come up with All-Star Wrestling. I don't remember how. And I had to emphasize Australia, which isn't on here.
Yeah.
Because there's an All-Star UK, All-Star USA, all that. So, but I don't remember how I come up with All-Star.
ASWA.
No.
You hate that.
Yeah. Any real All-Star fan doesn't use the acronym.
Yeah.
And any real All-Star staff member wrestler, it's All-Star, not ASWA.
Yeah.
If anyone says ASWA, you know that they haven't been around long in All-Star. No. Jimmy, I give a lot more credit to him than that.
Well, that took up about an hour.
There we go, Box.
There's a question.
I hope you've got some other topics, Box.
Status 2.
Yes.
Thoughts on Ric Flair signing with AEW?
That is a good one.
Yeah, multi-year contract.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, Mitch is, well, what Ric Flair in your eyes is the greatest of all time, right? Or is
look, that's a tough debate, but he's my favorite wrestler of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're not a very big fan of AEW.
No.
Let Jay saw that.
Oh, look, you made them stop. They heard you.
Anyway.
Let's go get an ice cream box.
Yours now? Yeah. Thoughts on Ric Flair signing with AEW? Shut up, you piece of shit. Yeah.
You know they can't hear that, right?
Nah.
There's an ice cream truck for those curious.
Yeah.
When I saw Flair come out for his segment with Sting, it was a bit sad to see. Like, I don't know, like 74-year-old man coming out. I didn't even watch all of it. I just watched him walk down the ramp. I'm like, I don't want to see Flair like this.
Fun fact, I was watching it with my mum.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Your mum used to be a wrestling fan, right?
Yeah. I was like, look at Ric Flair. And she goes, how old is he? And I said, I don't know. He's in his mid-70s. She goes, oh, he looks terrible.
Look, not to disrespect the man, but he doesn't look great.
No. Like, considering Sting's, only 10 years younger than him.
Yeah.
He looks...
Sting's got the face paint, though, to hide it.
Yeah, no, but even then, like...
Yeah.
Even without I've seen him without the face paint.
I mean... I don't know.
Guess, then again, Flair's lifestyle,
isn't
great.
The drinking, the drugs, the wrestling, it all adds up.
I don't know if many people know the plane crash story either. Yeah,
he's in a plane crash.
Yeah, because I found a photo of Ric Flair pre-plane crash. He was huge.
Yeah. Is that the one of him with short hair from 1979?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was jacked.
Yeah.
And I think he wrestled a different style back then. He was more of a powerhouse, which is crazy considering.
I haven't seen much of his 1970s
I
work,
just
to be
read
honest.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
To answer the question, multi-year deal for Flair. What are you going to do with him for multiple years?
You think he'll let you?
I hope not. Like we saw him at that show where he wrestled against Jeff Jarrett and whoever else was in the
It
match.
was Flair and Andrade against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal.
Yeah, and didn't he pass out?
Once.
Yeah, like you can't have that.
And then he did the fake heart attack spot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't necessarily like it unless Flair was in like an ambassador role, like he goes around to the press conferences and
I think if you wanted to use him in a wrestling capacity, have him manage something.
yeah, but even then, like ultimately that's better than having him wrestle
Like
and
someone who can't cut a promo, sticking with someone as a mouthpiece.
like who? Dancing Dave?
Yeah. I don't know, like AEW is very wrestling oriented, and I feel like there's a lot of guys that can use, I don't know, the help elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's positives having him around as well. If people are willing to listen to him, you've got one of the greatest of all time involved,
There is
and
no doubt that he's top five, if not
yes,
top three.
yeah. It's just, do the people want to see Ric Flair in his mid-70s? You know, as your mum said, as a casual wrestling fan, oh my God, he looks terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like, part of me can see them going, oh, Sting's retiring in February. That's what, 3 months away.
Let's stick Flair in.
Yeah, let's go Sting and Darby against Flair and
Oh,
Edge.
no.
Or something like that. You know what I mean?
Also, I think for
Get
AEW's,
Steamboat out of retirement.
I think for AEW's image, like I've said this to you before, to use a rugby reference, it's like when players go to the Super League.
Yeah, for more money.
Like, well, it's not always more money. It's just like they can't really hack it in the NRL anymore, so they go for the easy payday. That's kind of what AEW has become now. Oh, I see shoes. Who is it, Box?
I know those shoes. That's Jeremy Koch.
Who? Is it? Yes, it is. I see a coffee. Yeah.
How are you, big dog?
For those that had Jeremy Kopp on their bingo card.
Oh, yeah, for what's the game called? Something Mystery Doors.
Mystery Doors. What was I saying?
Ric Flair signing with AEW.
Yeah, don't like it. Unless he was an ambassador.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would it be if if you went to a on sale date for tickets for AEW and Ric Flair was there signing autographs?
That would be cool.
See, that would be cool, but they're gonna do something stupid with them. You watch.
The Rusty Slug, shout out to Nigel. All Star is better than that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Hardy Productions says, would you ever do a new logo?
I don't know. I like this one.
Maybe like a 10-year thing, like a revamp.
Maybe. But I think the logo is kind of recognizable now as well, and it's on the canvas, it's on the skirts, it's on the belts. So yeah, that would be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars endeavor to do that. So
You could pay for it.
yeah, Mr. Hardy Productions could pay for it.
Official Aries says ye.
Yeah, next question. Or is there not another one? Yeah, times 5.
Yeah. Well, how long have we got? Oh, that only took 6 minutes.
Fox, you're always trying to kill time at the. What else is going on in the world?
I don't know, but Aries just sent me a picture of myself.
Show the people. What a handsome man.
Thanks, Aries. I appreciate it. He said fish.
Fish. Nice. So what else is going on in the wrestling world? Box.
I don't know.
Comment.
Just to kill time, we are the Mitch Alex Show, sponsored by Bulldog Glass and Property Maintenance. And Bulldog Glass and Property Maintenance only.
That was some plug.
Yeah. For all your property maintenance and glass needs, head over to Bulldog Glass and Property Maintenance. Their information is on our social media. Look at him staring at the whole thing. Aries has sent me a voice message. Should I play it for the people?
Don't do it.
Don't do it?
No.
Okay. It's just him yelling ye.
Jeremy Cobb, what's going on in the wrestling world?
John Cena just got absolutely squashed by Solid Skull and maybe retiring, apparently. I don't think he's retiring. He wouldn't retire a show that isn't. He said you should play it. I'm not playing it. It's going. I don't think he'd retire at a Crown Jewel. I think a Mania would be his last match. I think he's just, I don't know.
I'd be sad to see John Cena retire. He was like the guy when I became a fan. I think, well, he became the guy when I was a fan.
I was going to say, when you became a fan?
I became a fan of wrestling in 03. I was a late bloomer.
Really?
Yeah. So, like Cena became the guy like 2 years after I became a fan. So, yeah.
I thought you were an Attitude Era guy.
No.
Yeah, like Cena was the guy, and he was the guy for so long. I don't think, apart from maybe a Hogan, or because like Austin and Rock were the guy, but I don't think people realize how short of a time that they were the guys. Like the Rock was only there full time for 8 years.
And he was only a big superstar for like 4 of them.
Yeah, same with Austin, the Ice Cream comes back. Yeah, so I think Cena was the guy from 05 till 20, I want to say 16 was when he stopped wrestling.
11-year run, wow.
Like regularly. His last world title was 2017. But he wasn't full time then. He dropped the belt. Yeah, he was just like that main event guy who like had so many top feuds. Like we were speaking in the chat the other day, like everyone kind of has like their partner. There's Austin and The Rock, there's Hogan and Andre, I guess. And who I think I asked who was Cena's guy, but there's so many different people. Like Randy Orton, he had his gun feud with Edge,
Kurt Angle,
Batista, JBL even beat.
That was his coming out match. You know, that's the one where they went, he's our guy.
You know, and like Shawn Michaels, he had some great matches with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and it just never ended for Cena. He was done. So I don't think he'd retire at Crown Jewel, considering they're billing him as the greatest of all time now.
That'll be a WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's definitely a WrestleMania. You know, like WrestleMania 40, his first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 20. So what a way to go out at WrestleMania 40. It just depends who against. Does Orton come back then? You know.
What about the NWA TV deal, Box? You got an opinion on it?
Oh, I just saw that they were looking at the CW network.
But they might have
NXT's just signed a 5-year deal with the CW network.
That doesn't mean they won't have NWA.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think now that NXT's there, that might.
Did you see on their pay-per-view, they had Father James Mitchell. Do you know him?
Yeah, I do.
He was snorting cocaine on their pay-per-view.
Whoa.
So there's feelings within the NWA community that might have cost them the TV deal. Yeah.
Father James Mitchell snorting cocaine.
Yes.
Wow.
Live on a pay-per-view broadcast, which is legal.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a place for illicit drugs in wrestling or drugs in wrestling in general, apart from hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Wow. I've always like.
See, I bring some modern wrestling to the pod.
Yeah, no, Father James Mitchell. I used to love watching him with this.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, TNA.
I don't know why you need Father James Mitchell doing cocaine on pay-per-view. The guy is super talented.
Yeah.
It just seems cheap. Okay.
Does Gunther need to drop that title, seeing as he can't leave continental USA for 6 months? I did see that.
Why can't he leave for 6
I
months?
think there's a visa issue or something.
That sucks.
So he's stuck in the USA for 6 months. He's currently feuding with the Miz. The Miz has just turned back to a good guy. I don't know if Miz will get him. Miz is I think he's an 8-time continental champion.
Wow.
One more to tie Jericho's record, I believe, or beat Jericho's record. I don't know if it's 8 or 9.
There you go. You heard it from Jeremy Kopp. They'll give it to it.
Gunther, the longest reigning intercontinental champion. Some are saying the greatest.
Did he beat the Honky Tonk Man's record?
Yeah.
Wow. How long's he had it for?
I've read somewhere that Gunther has been champion for 82% of his time in WWE.
Well, look who it is. Oh, he's got a football as well.
Is that a Parramatta footy too? I think it is.
Alex Box kicked our football over the fence, and now we got another one. What a guy, Dancer Dave.
Rugby ball.
Oh, we don't want that. Get it out of here.
It'll do. Yeah, so I think Dancing Dave.
Every time Dancing Dave comes, he's wearing a pink hat today as well.
Yeah.
Where's the Roosters hat?
Wow.
He says, "Fuck the Roosters hat." I can't believe it. Let's go into the question from David Bullock.
Yeah, so Gunther dropping the title. Yeah, he's been champion for like 82% of his time in WWE or something.
He's like without warning.
Yeah, yeah, but better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tom, you said that.
So yeah, I think. I lost my train of thought now.
I think that he will have to lose it if he can't defend it on all the house shows and the international pay-per-views and all that. Like,
Yeah, well, I think he was going to lose it sometime soon anyway. He's my pick to win the Royal Rumble.
yeah, but that definitely affects him. Hopefully, he can get his visa issue fixed up.
Yeah.
WWE will surely be able to do that. It's the
He's a
WWE.
fantastic wrestler. I don't know if you've seen any.
I've seen him once.
What match was it?
It was a match at the Royal Rumble. Maybe he was in the Rumble, and he lasted forever.
Yeah, it was this year's one.
Yeah.
He came in at like number 2 or something.
Did he have the Intercontinental title then?
Yeah, he did.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was 1 or 2, and he was third out.
Yeah. I remember that.
Who did Cody eliminate last? Was it Brock? No, it wasn't. I don't know. Cody eliminated it was someone big, like it was Drew or yeah, it was Brock or Drew or something. Anyway, yeah, one of you two. But yeah, no, I think Gunther's primed for a main event run soon. He's had some bangers.
But how do you give him the main event run when you're an international company and the guy can't go international?
Well, I mean, I think he just can't come for the next 6 months.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to give him the main event run in 6 months.
Yeah.
Unless the WWE lawyers can
unless they
sort something out.
Yeah, no, he's my pick for the Rumble. I mean, then again, look at Roman Reigns. The man wrestles 20 times a year. And like he wrestles maybe 3 or 4 times international. Oh, was Gunther he was
The second last. There you go.
Yeah, he entered 1 or 2 and yeah, that's huge.
I remember being impressed by him as well.
Yeah, he's incredible. And it's crazy. Like I saw a photo of him even when he first joined WWE, he wasn't in great shape.
Yeah.
And he's looking phenomenal.
Just like you, Alex Box.
Yeah. Let's see. The content cat is here.
Hello, content.
He says full podcast.
He says that every time. Okay.
New championship belt? Question mark.
For who?
For us.
No.
No. Maybe because we're talking about the logo.
Oh, okay. No.
Status Boom says Ernest the Cat coming to BCW.
Oh, let's give an opinion on that. I did see that.
Content cat says Ernest the Cat. Nah.
So Ernest the Cat Miller is coming to BCW. He's so excited to see your hero. He's coming to BCW, and like BCW always gets the interesting guests.
Yeah.
Like, who would ever expect Ernest the Cat Miller to be working an Australian independent in 2023?
And they had that announced on a show featuring Kent Kardashian.
It's true. It's a weird combination, but I like it.
Yeah, and he's versing
Box has been handed something.
Gunther entered number 1.
Dancer Dave, we're not talking about Gunther anymore. We're on to Ernest the Cat Miller, future tag team partner for you, perhaps.
Yeah, Gunther yeah, that's what we said because he looked it up. I was saying yeah, you heard him yell that out.
He needed to give you the info.
He did. Yeah, so Ernest Cat Miller on a BCW show in Melbourne.
An Aussie indie show.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like he, yeah.
You've upset Dance and Dave. He's left.
Status Doom. Thoughts on Impact going back to TNA? I think we touched on that last week.
Yeah, it doesn't make too much sense and kind of hurts the TNA legacy. But if they think it'll result in more money for the company, then good for them.
Drop to Bronson Reed in time for Perth. Ooh, good to drop to Bronson Reed.
I didn't think they'd hot shot that unless they're feuding.
Well, Bronson Reed was just in the number 1 contender match for the title and lost. But yeah, I don't know.
Jeremy Cobb's going as well. You're boring our live audience. What does it say?
Content Cat says, speak louder, Hat Boy. I apologize. Sorry. Hat Boy. Look, the one person who's left in the room looks like he's falling asleep.
No, he's having a laugh. He's excited.
No, I just saw him go.
It's been a long day for him.
Look,
Mystery person in the room. What year did you start wrestling? Someone asked earlier. Yeah. We said 04. There we go. I was right.
But I started training in
Wow.
98.
Jesus.
I was 6 years old in 98. What was I? No, it was 7. Wow.
Whoa.
Box wasn't even thought of in 98. That counts. 04. There you go, Box.
Wow, that's huge.
So 20 years for Johnny Starr next year.
No.
We're going to have a big match.
Yeah. Look at him.
Alex Box
Alex Box versus Johnny Starr.
versus Johnny Starr. All right. What else we got? Box, how long we got?
So we got 15 minutes, but I think we wrap it up early.
Let's do 5 minutes.
All right, we'll do 5 minutes.
What else have we got?
Throw in your questions. Let's see.
Throw in your questions and let's plug November 18th at the iconic Padstow RSL.
Alan the Fox returning to All Star. He has an animal name, so it's okay for me.
He's wrestling, what, 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
2 weeks at the November Collecticon.
That's right.
This is November.
Plug November 18th, then we'll talk about the Collecticon and then we'll go.
November 18th, Padstow RSL. Doors are at 6:30 p.m. for a 7 p.m. bell time. The main event, Orlando Jordan, Keegan Brettle, right?
Huge main event.
Huge main event. Tony Cruz taking on Aries for the Eastern States title. No yet confirmed match for tag team titles, but they may make an appearance. We'll have to see.
They'll be there.
We've got The Belief taking on Hell Yeah and Wes Williams in a huge grudge match. That was really cool. I just saw that. We've got, what else have we got? Katie Forbes and the women's champion Jasmine Brettle taking on
Jayla, Jay, and Xena, fresh from Stardom.
a huge, I'd almost call it a dream match. I'd almost call it.
Wow, okay.
Jack Dullahan versus J Law, first time ever. Big meaty men's type of meet. I'm excited.
It's a big
Did I
one.
miss any matches?
No,
I did. The international superstar, international wrestler, Reese Alexios makes his debut against Jay Sorbet. What a guy.
that's right. Plus, B-Boy, Caesar, and a bunch of other wrestlers will be there. So you got to be there at the iconic Padstow RSL Club.
It's probably our second biggest show of the year bar a night tournament.
A lot of people have told me that the card on paper is bigger than any show we put on this year.
Yeah, it's very a night to remember-esque. I'm excited.
So where can the people get a ticket, Box?
www.allstarwrestlingaustralia.com/update.
Did you say .com or .au?
Sorry, .com.au.
Say it again, Box.
www.allstarwrestlingaustralia.com.au.
Just leave it there. No, don't get in the forward slashes.
Our Facebook page, the Facebook page, in the events tab. Did you put it in there, correct?
I thought it was armor roll.
Uh-huh.
Now, November 26th, Box. Tell us about it.
The November, like 2 seconds.
It's an exciting time for our All-Star students.
It is. I think all of us are going to be, well, not the new ones, but the first intake of wrestling. All of them will be on the card. I don't know what else is there to talk about.
Well, the trainers will be there as well. It's not all about the
The
students.
trainers will be there. Keegan Brettle, Aries, Johnny Starr, all be on.
They will all be there. It's a debut for Johnny Starr at the Collecticon. That's right. It's gonna be exciting, Box. No. Leave it to surprise. Because if you confirm it, then I got to stick with it. You know,
Why would you change it?
things change all the time.
Why would you do that to me?
That's all right.
Why would you do that?
All right, Box. Sign us off.
We are the Mitch Alex Show, sponsored by.
Are we?
Broadcasting Property Maintenance.
Are we?
He's Mitch.
Am I?
I'm Alex.
Are ya?
See you next week, where we talk about All Stars 2019 year.
Wow, what a year it was, Box. What a year.
We'll see you later.
Bye bye.